Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and it is a story time video. We haven't done one of these in a while, and I think I've only done the one. I do not know. I would have to go back and double check. My brain, Jesus Christ. Baby brain, it is real. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Yes, we are doing a story time, and it is going to be my birthing story. And if you have no interest in hearing about childbirth, labour, pregnancy, or babies, then by all means skip this video. I will not take offense. It is fine. Also, apologizing for the state of my house right now. It has got like the baby basket, it has got the bottles and the sterilizer and the formula all in here. I am in the process of going from breastfeeding to formula because it just hurts like hell, okay? Please don't judge me. I tried for over a month and I'm in agony to a point where it is really affecting me. So yes, don't judge me. I tried. We're going on to formula. Deal with it. So yes, as of filming this, my baby is 1 month old now. Nearly 6 weeks. I cannot believe it. It has gone so quickly, and you know, considering we're not getting any sleep and we're still figuring out a routine, you would think, oh well, because you're not sleeping, because you're constantly on the go, it must feel like it's really dragging, it's spending ages because you're not having that break. Actually, no, it is going so quickly. And yes, for those of you who don't know, I had a baby girl. A little baby girl that we have named Verity, and I love her so much. I am obsessed with her, and she's just so cute. And even when she is crying, when she is having those things, she's suffering with colic at the moment, colic and baby constipation at the same time, because as I said, we are transforming from breast milk to formula, so she's going to have some tummy issues, but that is slowly dwindling out. We were slowly getting the hang of it, and she is feeling a lot better than what she did when we first started doing this. If you have any advice for me, please let me know. I would love to hear it. Please, please, please. Yeah, Verity is a month old now, and she is just so amazing. And I know everyone says that about their child when they're first born because we're biased, but yeah, so yeah, let's get on with I've gone on a tangent already, but I just love talking about her. And little squishy face. She's got such a little squishy face. I don't know if I'm going to be one of those people that brings the baby on camera and like, oh, look at my child, look at this, look at that, or anything, because I don't know, I want to give her the chance to want to be in videos when she's a little bit older, if I'm still doing this by then. But yeah, right now Tom has taken her on a long walk for me to just have some time in the house to myself and to film and to just chill a little bit, because we're a good little tag team at the moment. That's one thing that we've gotten pretty good at, is tag teaming. Anyway, I've gone on a tangent again. This is supposed to be a story time about the birth. So Verity was due on the 10th of March, and I was convinced that she was going to be late, because there had been no signs that labour was on the way. There had been no extra twinges. I was 2 weeks late. My poor mother, I was 2 weeks late. Another one of my sisters was 19 days late. Being late is a recurring thing on my side of the family, whereas Tom was a week early, so I was like, okay, you know, odds are in the late favour at this point, so I was not expecting any early signs. But then she was born on her due date. She was born on the 10th of March. Her due date, which apparently is really rare. There's like a 3% chance of babies actually being born on the date that they're due. So that was a surprise. And it happened so quickly. I have no dramatic story of being in the middle of a supermarket and, oh, my water's breaking, or I have no, sudden extreme contractions or days on end of feeling contractions and twinges and not knowing if this is real or not. I had none of that. It was so quick. I woke up at 5 a.m. on the 10th of March feeling an intense pressure in my lower abdomen, and it felt like, I don't get a lot of period pains. I don't get a lot of cramps. I get twinges every now and again, but nothing bad. But this felt like that cranked up to 100. It felt like a really bad, intense pressure period pain that I was not used to. And for the last month or so of pregnancy, I wasn't getting signals of, oh, you need to pee. I was just getting, you're in pain. Baby's on your bladder. You probably need to pee. I didn't have that pee signal. I was just, pain, I probably have to pee. So when I woke up at 5 in the morning, does the word pee just lose all meaning now? Probably, yes. So when I woke up at 5 in the morning feeling this intense pressure, I thought, oh, I just need to pee. I couldn't stand up straight. I was just in so much pain with it. It was just, oh, Jesus, okay, I need to pee really bad. So I go to the bathroom. I have kept all the lights off because, you know, when you're still half asleep, you want it to be dark so you can hold on to as much sleep as possible, so it's easier to fall back asleep again when you go back to bed. So I kept all the lights off. I'm in the bathroom, I'm sitting down, and I can't pee. Nothing is happening at all, and I'm just there thinking, well, what is going on? Am I just really uncomfortable? Did I just sleep awkwardly? I don't know. So I went back to bed, but I couldn't sleep because this pain was slowly getting more and more insistent. The more awake I was getting, the more intense the feeling was. So I thought, okay, maybe that was just a fluke. Maybe I do actually need to pee. I wasn't peeing. I went back to the bathroom. I sat down. Nothing was happening. But I felt something change. I don't know what it was. I felt baby kicking, so there wasn't anything to worry about in that respect, but I felt something change. So I got some toilet roll, looked down, and because the lights were still off, I'd wiped, the toilet roll was now really, really dark, and I thought, oh shit, I'm bleeding. I turned the light on and it is bright red blood, and it is not pouring out of me. Sorry if this is TMI, but there was a lot of it. And when you're that late in pregnancy and you see blood, or even pregnancy at any time you see blood, you panic. And I panicked, and I just remember running into the bedroom, waking Tom up, like, honey, I'm bleeding, I don't know what to do. We called the midwife and they said to come to the hospital straight away. We had to we tried calling our next door neighbour because they're absolutely lovely and we love them so much, and they had said, no matter what time, call us, we will drive you to the hospital, because God knows I wasn't going to be driving while going through labour. No way in hell, especially at gone 5 in the morning. But they were not answering their phones, which, it was gone 5 in the morning. Why would they answer their phone straight away, which was fair enough. So we had to call one of our friends who only lives about 2 minutes up the road, and be like, yeah, so can you help? And luckily they're working shift hours at that time, so they were already awake or they were just waking up. So they drove us to the hospital, and he was a godsend. So we get to the hospital and it is so quiet. We got to the hospital about 5:45 in the morning. It was so quiet and so scary, and we got our masks on as well, so I'm still feeling this intense pressure. I'm still feeling these waves of really uncomfortable, like, throbbing, and I assume by this point I am in labour, but the fact that I knew that I was bleeding as well just terrified me, and I didn't know what to do or what to expect. I was so convinced at that point that we were not going to be bringing a baby home with us. I was convinced that something had gone horribly wrong, because why else would there be blood? But we make it to the labour ward, and trying to do the breathing exercises through a mask was horrible, but had to be done. So if they see us, they take us to a room that is cut off from everybody else. It's our own private room, because we were midwife led, not consultant led, so we managed to get our own room, which was great. And yeah, I was on the table. I made the mistake of wearing my maternity jeans, so these poor midwives who had to take my jeans off for me and were struggling, because I panicked. I grabbed the first thing I could, which was what the clothes that I was wearing the day before, which were on my floor, because I'm a slob. So yeah, they inspect everything, and they're looking at me, and they go, "So how long have you been feeling this pain for?" And I went, "Well, since I woke up about an hour ago." "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I woke up at 5, I'm in pain, I was bleeding, we came straight here." "You didn't have any pain like yesterday or anything like that?" I was like, still panicking, thinking, why are we going around in circles with these questions? I was like, no, I felt the regular, like pain trying to sit up, aches because I'm heavy, and baby kicks. I have not felt anything else. Like, oh, well that's really strange, because you're nearly 9 centimeters dilated, and the reason you're bleeding is because this is moving so quickly. How did you not wake up sooner? You missed majority of your labor. And I'm like, I don't know, I've never done this before. So yeah, it turns out that the reason I was bleeding was because my body had just gone from, are we ready to have a baby? Whoop, yep, we're ready to have a baby. I had slept through most of the labour, apparently, so by the time we got into the hospital, I was nearly 9 centimetres dilated, and pretty much ready to start pushing, which was terrifying. As of pain relief, I was fine with the majority of things, like gas and air, fine with pethidine, I cannot remember how to pronounce it, I will put it up here. I was fine with that, but an epidural scared the living daylights out of me, because although I'm okay with needles, the idea of that needle, which is friggin' huge, going into your spine and you can't move, and you have to sign a thing in case they paralyze you. I know it's rare and it was probably just my own head bigging it up, but I was terrified of the idea of that thing. If it was necessary, if it was like a dangerous situation and I needed to have it done, then I wasn't going to turn it down, but the idea building up to it was terrifying to me. However, it got to a point where I changed my mind and was suddenly like, I need this now. But it was too late, and that's the thing, even if I had decided during my birthing plan I want an epidural, by the time I got to the hospital, because I was nearly 9 centimetres, it would have been already too late. So whether I had changed my mind or not, I wasn't allowed to have it. Great. Fantastic. So yeah, they gave me gas and air, which is this, I've been told that it is this miracle stuff that makes you a little bit loopy, it takes the edge off, and it is just wonderful stuff. And I went into this thinking, oh, this stuff's going to be amazing, I'm going to be asking if I can take some home with me, this is going to be great. No, it was all a lie. I don't know how it is for other people, but for me, I took 2 big puffs of this stuff, and suddenly I was sick. Going through contractions and being sick at the same time is horrible, and it kept happening. I did not react well to gas and air, and the poor midwives, they were lovely, I cannot fault them whatsoever, they were lovely, lovely ladies. So yeah, also because it was so late in the game, they couldn't offer me a full dose of pethidine. So I had to have half a dose injected into my leg, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all. It made me very drowsy and loopy and a bit woo, but then it didn't get to the point where it would take the edge off, it only reacted to make me drowsy, so it didn't have the full effect. So yeah, it was then time to start pushing, and good lord, it hurt. And I was sort of restricting myself in a way, because I'm not being funny, it feels like you're having the world's biggest poo at one point, and I'm like, am I actually, is that actually the head, or am I pooing on the table? I do not know. And no one would tell me, so I probably wasn't pushing as hard as I should have, but then I was drowsy and also terrified that I was going to poop. Looking back, I shouldn't have given a shit. Literally. But yeah, because the pethidine making me so drowsy but not taking the edge off, I was convinced that this whole process took about half an hour. No, it did not. I was pushing for 2 hours, but to me, I was going from I'm so drowsy, I'm asleep, I physically cannot open my eyes. This is terrifying, I can't wake up. Oh, I need to push. Push, 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 push. And I'm drowsy again, and I can't open my eyes, and I'm feeling scared because I can't open my eyes. Oh, I need to push again. I was having no break, because it was unable to open my eyes and being scared because of that, to waking up and instantly needing to push. It was a cycle, and to me it was half an hour of torment, but in reality it was actually 2 hours that this was going on for. Tom luckily was allowed to stay with me the whole time because of COVID rules. I didn't know what that was going to be like, but he was allowed to stay with me the whole time, and he, you know, it was so hard for him having to see me like that. It was not fun for him at all, and he was my rock through all of that. Apparently at one point, again, because of drowsiness, I didn't notice this, I was holding his hand so tight that I actually dislocated one of his fingers. Which he just casually pops back in because he's like insanely double jointed, so he can just pop his joints back in whenever something like that happens. So yeah, I held his hand so tight that his finger popped out and he had to subtly pop it back in because he didn't want to make me feel guilty and he didn't want to draw any attention away from me. Yeah, also they gave me a COVID test halfway through pushing, which seemed a little bit late in the game for me, I don't know. But yeah, I am pushing, I am drowsy, I'm pushing, I'm drowsy. And then suddenly like, oh yeah, we just need to take a quick COVID test if you're okay with that. So they're trying to shove this thing down the back of my throat, which, you know, I'm completely okay with. Test away. If it's going to make things safer down the line, then, you know, I'm not against being tested. But why do it halfway through contractions and pushing when I'm already passing out on a regular basis because of a drug that hasn't worked properly? Common sense, people. So they're like, oh, so every time they're trying to stick it down my throat and I'm heaving or I'm pushing or I'm like trying not to fall asleep. Well, it's not falling asleep, it's passing out, but still. They go, oh, you need to have this done. Oh, it's not too bad. Oh, I know you're scared, but it's not too bad. I'm like, look, it's got nothing to do with that. I am willingly trying to let you in, but there's all these things that are against all of us at the moment. Can you pick your timing, please? And then the doctor comes in. I have nightmares about this woman. She comes in and, you know, the midwives and the nurses have been great. They've been really encouraging, they've been wonderful. And then she comes in and she is just Nurse Ratched style of no nonsense. She comes in, she sits down there in front of me, and suddenly the pain, I thought my pain was already at a 10 between passing out and stuff. I thought it was already at a 10, and then she comes in and suddenly it feels like she's trying to claw her way inside me to meet the baby halfway, and then I realise, my pain hasn't been at a 10, it's been at about a 7 or an 8. Now she's here, my pain has gone to 300. I don't know what she was doing. I couldn't see, but I could feel, even when I was like struggling to open my eyes, I could feel everything. And she was, according to Tom, she was just in there. She was just in there. I do not know the details. I do not want to know the details of what this woman was doing to me. But according to Tom, she was in there. It felt like she was trying to claw her way inside to meet the baby halfway. And oh my god, I have never felt pain like it. Oh good lord. But then the 2 hours went by. And then she decided enough was enough. And told me, we're going to give you some general anaesthetic down there. And I thought, great, more pain relief. This is what I've been asking for, thank God. Little did I know, she was giving me this general anaesthetic because they were going to cut me. There is a cut when you're giving birth if there is difficulties or you've been pushing for too long and they think that it's going to cause a risk to you and the baby, where they cut from the entrance to halfway towards your butthole, basically. And that is what they did to me. I was not told. I was not warned. They just did it. She gave me the anesthetic, which is a needle down there. Was great about that one. And then suddenly I felt everything. That anaesthetic also did not work on me. I felt everything. They did not wait long enough for it to kick in. She just sliced. And my vision went white. It was intense and horrible, and I had prided myself because even though there was the throwing up and the passing out and the pain and this woman, I had not cried. Not a single tear. Not a single tear. I had not yelled. I let loose one F-bomb, and that was a silent. I didn't say it out loud. I thought I was holding myself with so much dignity in a very undignified position, in a very vulnerable position. I thought I was doing well. And then that happened without warning, and I yelled. I don't remember swearing. Apparently I didn't swear. But I just remember crying out, "Oh my god! Oh my god!" And I don't know how long that went on for. My vision just went white. I couldn't open my eyes. I didn't want to open my eyes. I didn't want to know what was going on down there. And yeah, then suddenly I felt this release. This pressure vanished. And I felt something move. And then I heard her crying. And they just pulled out this slimy, sticky, crying thing and put her straight on my chest. And suddenly, I didn't feel any pain anymore. I'm getting emotional already. I didn't cry. I did not cry, but I'm crying now. I don't get it. But they put her on my chest, and I held her, and she was crying, and she was sticky and covered in God knows what. But she was so freaking beautiful. And yeah, she was there, and Tom cut the cord, and I just got to hold her, and we were doing skin to skin. Tom was crying. Tom cried. I have seen him cry maybe 4 times in the 7 years we've been together. He cried once when I told him that I was pregnant, and he was crying now when Verity was put on my chest. And it was amazing. And yeah, she had, well, still has, so much hair. This thick, thick mop of hair. And these huge blue eyes. And she was so alert. She was so alert. Just for a good 2 hours after giving birth, she wasn't asleep. She was wide-eyed, looking around. She wasn't even fully crying after like the first 15 minutes. She was just awake. So I'm holding her, and she's sticky and she's slimy, and I'm trying to make sure that she's not going anywhere. And they start doing my stitches down there, where I had to then pass Verity over to Tom so that I could inhale gas and air, which didn't do anything, but they were adamant, no, you need to have gas and air, it will help. It bloody well didn't, but you know. And they're doing up the stitches, and that hurt like hell. That was, you know, that was a ring of fire right there. Good lord, that woman was rough. But our baby was here, and she was born at 11:36 a.m. So I'd woken up at 5, in the hospital by 6, giving birth 11:30. It was quick. It was very quick. And good lord, something that they don't tell you is the first cup of tea and slices of toast you get after giving birth are the most beautiful tasting things in the world. Oh good lord, I had so much tea, I had so much toast. They were delicious. But yeah, we were there for a while. Verity was getting checked, I was getting checked, Tom was getting coffee. and we just took turns holding her. They went through techniques with me for breastfeeding. She was having trouble latching on, but you know, she was getting something, so that was good. I'm not going to go into breastfeeding because it's just such a touchy subject, and I've already said what we did and what issues we were having, so I'm not going to go into any more details with it. But yeah, she was born £7.9 and was so tiny and gorgeous and squishy. She was so squished. And yeah, then, you know, they made sure that, you know, we were both okay, that we, you know, because they make you stay in the hospital until you have your first pee, just to show that, you know, things are still moving down there, and they'd like for baby to have a first pee as well, but, you know, they're okay if there's not, as long as you report to them afterwards, hey, she's peed. So, yeah. And yeah, we were home by 4:30. It was so less than 12 hours from waking up to giving birth to going home. Less than 12 hours. It was insane. And the first week of giving birth, the first week of parenthood was rough. Really rough. I mean, we knew it was going to be hard, but we didn't know it was going to be that hard, and it took over a week to find a routine that worked for us. And yeah, we've had a lot of down days. It has been hard. It has been lonely as well, because COVID and lockdown restrictions and not having as much family help as we could have because people can't travel to each other. But we've had more help now that certain restrictions have been lifted. We found a routine that works for us, and I love this child. My daughter. I love my daughter. I have a daughter. I'm a mum. What the hell? Yeah, I love her. Her hair's gotten thicker, which, looking at me, there is no surprise there. We knew she was going to have wild hair. She's still got her big blue eyes. We don't know, that's saying I've got blue eyes. I don't know if they're going to turn brown or like a greeny brown like Tom's. We will wait and see, but at the moment they're staying blue. And she's just got so much of her personality coming through. She's very cuddly, which I'm okay with. I love. She's settling in her bed more. We're getting into more of a routine. She's feeding well. She is getting bigger. And I can't believe that she's over a month old. And that's depressing. But yeah, we are doing well. We're happy. And yeah, recovery-wise, my stitches hurt like a bitch for the first 2 weeks. They were sore. They were itchy. It was just a nightmare. I hated them. I'd have days where I couldn't even sit down. I had to like flop onto a sofa or something like that. It was not fun. But yeah, now I barely feel them. They're in the process of dissolving, so that's good. And like no bleeding for like the past 3 days as well. It takes a long time for the bleeding to stop, but you know, I'm doing well. I'm doing good. So yeah, we are a little family unit now. Me, Tom, and our daughter Verity. It's weird looking back now. I still remember every little bit of pain, every bit of fear, every bit of chaos that happened that day. I remember every single thing, but at the same time, it's muted in the back of my head. Like, I remember the feeling of that doctor trying to get in there. I remember the agony of that slice that I was not aware of that was going to be happening. I remember all of it. But now I'm getting to a point where my brain is tricking me into some kind of shock where you're thinking, yeah, I could go through this again. I could go for another. Put me back in the rain coach, I'm fine. But yeah, you know, it's going to be a few years before we have that conversation, I think. At the moment, we're just focusing on Verity, and we love her so much, and she's already grown so much, and it scares me, but cute little chubby cheeks thing. But yeah, that is all I have for you with my birthing story. I'm sorry if it got a bit grim in places. I'm sorry if it wasn't as detailed as you were expecting. And if you have any questions about what I went through, then, you know, by all means leave them in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer things as best I can. But yeah, I'm gonna go now because I want to have a nap before Tom comes back with the baby. So yes, I am a mum and we have a baby. That still doesn't feel real to say. But yeah, I'm doing well. We're all doing well, and I'm liking this new schedule of only uploading on Saturdays. It just takes the pressure off immensely, and it allows me to bulk up on videos a lot easier than I did before. And yeah, the fact that I'm still filming and writing as well is a bloody miracle for me, because I didn't think I was going to. I was genuinely scared that I was going to lose it. But, you know, we're still keeping the routine, which is good, and I'm happy. But yeah, share your birthing stories in the comments. I really love hearing about this kind of thing, which is probably a bit weird, but you know, that's just me. I'm weird, didn't you know? Yeah, I've gone on many tangents, so I'm going to stop here. And yeah, I hope you're doing well, I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye, my scribblers.